Yeah, there's a bike on it. There's nobody there. There you go. Like drive. Yo, that's creepy. What?
Let me ask you, would you eat this stack of pancakes with a little Roundup frosted on top? Yes, no, maybe? Because they tell us it's perfectly safe.
Roundup nor glyphosate cause cancer. There is 50 years worth of data and evidence that we re-review constantly as part of the regulatory process.
No links to cancer, says the head of PR for Bayer. In fact, it's so safe that there have been, to date, only 180,000 lawsuits filed against Bayer, with them having to pay out over $12 billion worth of damages. It's so safe that Bayer is now looking to make it illegal to file lawsuits that claim glyphosate causes cancer. It's so safe that exposure to the chemical threatens wildlife, human health, and has been linked to a ton of diseases like non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, as well as fatty liver disease, kidney damage, and other ailments. Like I said, super safe. And if you don't know what glyphosate is, it is the key ingredient of the miracle weed killer Roundup that was first introduced back in 1974 by Monsanto and later acquired by Bayer. And then after that, they introduced something called Roundup Ready crops, which are genetically engineered to resist glyphosate, which then led to the mass adoption of glyphosate for weed control. And we're talking a massive surge in use of glyphosate in agriculture and farming. And today, approximately 60% of crops are treated with glyphosate. And those are rookie numbers, apparently, because lately they've been trying to get those numbers way up. Okay, recently, dozens of members of Congress sent this letter to Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the Secretary of Health and Human Services, Brooke Rollins, Department of Agriculture, and Lee Zeldin, the head of the EPA, arguing that there is overregulation of glyphosate. Basically insinuate that without glyphosate, we're all going to go hungry. Except I took a close look at who signed this letter, and one of the key petitioners, Deb Fischer, senator from Nebraska, she just happens to be, according to Open Secrets, the #1 recipient of big ag money in Congress. Another senator, Chuck Grassley of Iowa, he's received the generous backing of the Big Six of biotech. We're talking contributions from companies like Bayer, DuPont, Dow, etc., etc. It's almost like if we give money to these people, as long as we give them enough money, they'll do anything we want, including...
Those are lobbyists, right? The people who give them the money are called lobbyists. Now, the people who are getting the money, are they Republicans or Democrats? Does it matter? Because both are wings on the same bird.
Between October 2023 and February 2024, over 11,000 English nouns dropped in usage by more than 80%. Not slang, not outdated terms, functional vocabulary, threshold, repetition, resolve. Terms connected to boundary setting, identity, and memory recall. AI flagged the trend, assuming it was content drift, but the rate of disappearance? Too fast for culture, too quiet for censorship. So we looked deeper, and what we found was structural. Large-scale neural feedback models now optimize for engagement by removing emotionally heavy terms that cause user hesitation. That's not optimization, that's linguistic erosion. And once a word falls below 2% of network visibility, it triggers the vanishing word protocol. Reclassify it, downrank it, replace it, not delete it, just less shown, less spoken, until one day you reach for a word like integrity, and it's no longer in your mouth, or your feed, or your memory.
There was a word for stuff when I was in middle school, and I remember my English teacher telling me about it. Basically, they're putting words down the memory hole. And she just happened to be telling us, I think it was in 5th grade, her 5th grade class, they're going to do this in the future. And she said something of legend, of this, of like, you know, the word when you say, it's the stuff of legend. She said the word where stuff goes. I forgot what that word was because that was in the 80s, 86, 87. I forget but this is what they're saying. Words have been put down the memory hole, and you don't hear it long enough, then you forget even what the word was. That's what they're saying, but I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just telling you what happened to me.
Want to know how the rich get wealthy through generations? Well, here it is. It's called trusts. Trusts serve for two purposes. One, to protect anonymity, and two, to provide a way to pay zero taxes and keep all the income non-taxable. Apart from that, a trust is funded by a life insurance policy. Once the policyholder from the life insurance is deceased, the entire fund from the life insurance gets dumped to the trust. Once the funds are in the trust, courts cannot legally tap into your trust to pay off the debts of the deceased life insurance policyholder. Why is this important? Research the word probate, and you'll see why the rich utilize a trust. Probate is the legal process of settling affairs, two of them being debts and taxes. Had it not been for trusts, the life insurance, along with real estate and automobiles, would be sold to handle the debts. Why do you think the rich borrow and borrow? Because they won't pay it back. And thanks to trusts, they're protected from probate. If you wish to support the page, please feel free to leave a donation when the link does become available. This allows my team and I to continue making content for you all. Remember, it's not them we should fear, it's us they should fear.
They do fear us, which is why there's this concerted effort to silence us. Allegedly. Maybe not. That's fantasy. Harry Potter, Star Wars.
See, I'm watching this play right here, bro, and this is exactly why I could never be a ref, because everything in my brain is telling me this is a travel. I got people in my DMs telling me about a 0 step, bro.
There's no such thing as a 0 step. They introduced that, sometime in the 2000s? After LeBron James was already in the league? LeBron James is a notorious traveler. So they had to implement some rule because he is not good at moving his feet. So here is the 0 step. But that's neither here nor there, right? No, it is here because they're hitting you with the Mandela effect right in front of you. They're rewriting history right in front of you. But let's keep going.
Like when I'm watching this play, when he's driving, he picks the ball up right here, no? The ball is up. 1, 2, 3. Then the step through. That's crazy. And this is why I can't be a ref, because Brian, I'm telling you right now, I'm calling a travel on you. If you come to LA Fitness and do this move, I'm calling travel. Don't talk to me about a 0 step.
I don't know how you're supposed to meet someone when the dating apps suck and then guys don't approach you.
I'm so pretty and the dating scene here is just like so wild. These guys.
Yeah, you told guys not to approach you, but then that's a part of the Mandela effect. Remember when guys could approach women and women liked being approached? Remember? This face that she's making, ew, that was like a minority of women acting like that. Remember? Or is that just in my timeline women used to act like that? They're rewriting history right in front of us. This is why this is in the video. It's a conspiracy. Or is it not a conspiracy? Is this how it always was in this time? Did I get put into a different timeline? Who knows?
Ooh, honey, maybe it's your energy.
I refuse to be a stay-at-home mom in a country that doesn't place any value on the unpaid invisible labor that women do.
Who cares what the country thinks of you? All you should care about is what your husband thinks.
Whoever pays my bills first wins.
Gold diggers everywhere.
So today is my last day of maternity leave and I go back to work tomorrow. I just don't feel ready.
I'm ready for the heat on this one. Women, you shouldn't go for careers where you're going to have student loans. It's not worth it.
the radium fireplaces. These fireplaces weren't being lit up with fire and wood because that would bring all the smoke into your house. And they showed Thomas Edison sitting in front of a radium fireplace, sitting there with his feet in front of radium. So if radium was as toxic as we were told to, why would someone have it in their house and in their fireplace of all places? The periodic table of radium is 88. And if you think of 88, that's infinite. You know, it's 2 8s going back and forth. That's an infinite number. Even Henry T. Murray was talking about radium. And he was saying about how it's a radioactive decaying substance. And he said all of nature is a radioactive decaying substance. Then I started looking at the radium springs and all the springs that people sit in. You go all over the country. There's radium hot springs that people sit in. And the Rockefellers and Rothschilds used to sit in these. And I'm like, okay, if it's toxic, you wouldn't sit in a spring with it. And then when people go to buy a house, they ask them if they have radon gas. And I'm like, that's interesting. Why are you asking about this? I started going down all these rabbit holes, and then it led me to Galen Windsor and him eating plutonium and him showing how he's taking plutonium, putting it in a jar and eating it. And he said, the reason we've been told that lie is because that is the key to the free energy or the unlimited energy. And if people understood that all this stuff was harmless, then they wouldn't be able to scare people into, fallouts and all these things that are happening.
Since you called out sick today, we're going to need proof that you went to the doctor since you're sick enough not to work. Unfortunately, I won't be going to the doctor to waste my time and money. I'm just going to take some home remedies, maybe a little cayenne pepper, maybe some ginger, maybe some turmeric, maybe just that'll clear me out a little bit. Hopefully I'll get feeling better quickly. That's not going to work for us. You'll either need to show us proof that you went to the doctor or we'll have to write you up. I can't help but notice you're wanting me to break HIPAA laws.
I like how he said that. You will be breaking HIPAA. Like, I don't have to disclose anything that me and my doctor talk about. It's like a client attorney privilege to a degree. But like the clip before, if we scare you into thinking A, B, and C, we'll be able to manipulate you better. Now, my question is, the people who want to scare you so they can manipulate you better, are they Democrats or are they Republicans? If I'm a Republican, I'm going to say it's a Democrat. If I'm a Democrat, I'm going to say it's the Republicans. I'm going to say, what does it matter what side you're on? Both of you are trying to scare me to manipulate me into doing your bidding. But your bidding doesn't benefit me and my family. It does? How? Leave it in the comments and tell me how it benefits you.
Conditions that are requiring me to give you any information regarding medical care or any paperwork, so I won't be doing that to appease you. It's company policy, so I need you to comply. I'm certain that it's not company policy to break HIPAA laws, as this can actually put the company in jeopardy of getting sued, and it can also have a domino effect of other issues, and so for the company, and so I'm not going to do that.
And this is why smart people aren't liked. Lawyers are smart. This is why lawyers aren't liked. Unless you're a lawyer for the government. You're like a corporate lawyer, then kind of like you're not liked.
I don't agree, but I'm going to talk with you more about it when you come back. Well, there's nothing more to talk about. I just hope this conversation doesn't continue when I get back. Now, if you'll excuse me, I actually need to save my fish from drowning. Hope you have a great day.
And how exactly can I help you?
I would like to kill this man and be found not guilty by reason of temporary insanity. I would like you to advise me as to what legal steps I must take in order to accomplish this.
I certainly would not and could not advise a person on how to get away with a murder.
Why not?
Well, because that would make me a conspirator, for starters, and personally, I'm not a great believer in murdering.
Let me start over. I have decided to write a novel. It's about a man who kills a man and is acquitted on grounds of insanity. I would like to hire you as a consultant. What legal steps must my protagonist take in order to accomplish this?
It's all about the prompt. You gotta have the correct prompt.
I found a pretty interesting video from a comedian. This is really good, Brian.
We love to tell ourselves, like, every religion is exactly... No, they're not. The Christians won everything a long time ago. If you don't believe me, let me ask you a question. What year is it according to the entire human race? And why? It's 2017. What is that? That's a number. It's not just any number. It must be a very important number because we're counting to it in unison as a species. What is this number? We're counting the days since what? Since there was ever people, or since the sun did something? Not at all. It's been 2017 years since what? Anybody yell it out. Yes, Christ!
The Christians won, obviously. It's such a valid point. I think it totally ties into the fact that I think Christianity spread all over the world.
That's a point I've continued to try to stress to people, whether they believe we're in the little season or not. It cannot be overstated. We live in 2025, Anno Domini, the year of our Lord. The current timeline is centered around...
I used to think BC stood for before Christ and AD stood for after Christ. That's when I was a kid. But I guess that's not what it stood for.
Christ. The Christians won everything. Jesus won everything. And everyone recognizes, whether they want to or not, that Jesus is Lord because they say we live in the year 2025 of our Lord. Of our Lord who? Of our Lord Jesus Christ.
That's it.
Now, usually I don't go camping, but would I go camping with her? Probably not.
And in an intimate relationship, they do not appreciate an ambitious, driven, successful woman.
Yeah, because it fundamentally...
It does not serve them, fundamentally.
It also doesn't serve you in the relationship. And I make this very clear. If I go, hey, baby, dinner tomorrow night, 8:30, get dressed and ready. And you're like, ooh, I have a house showing at 8:30. I can't.
You're turned off instantly.
Instantly. You're not my woman. Your devotion meter is going...
Because you want a woman to serve you in all aspects, essentially.
No, yeah. There's a certain component that when you're with a man, you're with that man exclusively. And I think that women go, well, I don't like that. Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's okay to feel that way. I want you to recognize how you really desire that for your best interest. And if you can, as a woman, recognize that, you will start realizing it's my boss or my husband. Someone's telling me what to do. And there's no liberation in the fact that now your 8:30 dinner plans with a person you love is now coming for a guy that needs a paycheck and a quota by a certain time.
You want your man to give you attention at all times. Isn't that serving you to give you attention? Yay, feminism. You won, feminism. I should say you're winning. Yay, feminism.
Shit's getting weird. Part infinity.
The steaks from Applebee's are microwaved and they are thrown on the grill for a charred look. There is no secret menu at Starbucks. If you're ordering drinks like the Clint Eastwood or the Bloody Tuxedo, they're just going to get annoyed with you and put decaf in your coffee. If you like the rice from Chipotle, the secret is that they put half lemon, half lime juice on their rice. Former Chick-fil-A employee says that all of the food is actually really fresh, with the exception of the waffle fries that come in frozen. They bread the chicken themselves, they squeeze the lemons for the lemonade, and if there's any extra Cool Wraps at night, they get to take them home. The delivery fee is not a tip for the drivers, so tip your drivers. A $7 tub of popcorn at the movie theater costs 9 cents for them to make. The bread from Macaroni Grill would come in frozen, and then it would just sit on a shelf for 2 weeks at room temperature, so imagine the preservatives. At Chili's, desserts like the molten lava cake and the paradise pie come in frozen, and if your food is not warm enough, they just put it in the microwave. Also, people ask about the queso dip recipe, and they said it just comes in a bag, so don't ask them. Former Subway employee says the food there is actually very fresh, and they would continue to eat there even after working there. Even though the dough at Panera Bread comes in fresh, they're actually really good ingredients that they have. A former employee says that they donate all of the leftovers, and they still consider Panera Bread to be a really honest company. This just says don't eat at Golden Corral ever. Former Domino's driver says he only got paid $3.15 an hour. He had to use his own car and own gas to deliver the pizzas. So once again, if you live in America, tip your delivery drivers.
So y'all pussy ass niggas really gonna sit there and let China just keep whooping our ass though? Like, what is going on? Why y'all know what the fuck? Why do y'all want to lose this bad? Nigga, it's April. They all the way in 26. What the fuck is y'all doing, man? Like, help me. Help me understand why the fuck we losing like this. God damn, man. Let me get my dual citizenship. I'm finna live double.
What the fuck happened at Coachella this year? Here are the 4 weirdest moments you seriously can't ignore. Right from the start, things felt off. Billie Eilish walked on stage barefoot. No intro, no sound. Just 1 full minute of complete silence. Then she screamed, "Wake up," and jumped straight into her first track. No one knows if it was performance art or a full-on meltdown. Then came Doja Cat. She always goes wild, but this time she wore a full alien-style exosuit with LED veins that lit up with the bass. At one point, her eyes turned pitch black on the screen. People were shook, like, is that even normal? Some random guy in a bunny costume crashed Skrillex's set. He grabbed the mic and yelled, "Coachella isn't real." Security didn't even move. He just walked away like nothing happened. Still, nobody knows who he was.
Because that was a part of it. It's staged, right? They're on a stage. Does that mean it's staged? Nah.
And the craziest part? Lana Del Rey ended her set with a slow, creepy version of the national anthem while drones made an upside-down pyramid in the sky. The whole crowd went dead silent. No cheers. Just this weird vibe, like everyone saw something they shouldn't have.
Meanwhile, they got these things. I'm trying to get one. I think I want one. But don't have one of these in a hailstorm. Whew. Tornado? Bro. It's over with for you. But if there's a flood, you can probably get out the way. I don't know if you can carry your family with you. You might have to get one for each individual family member. But how much do these dang on things cost? They look fun.
Deepfakes just became undetectable. The tool is called Omnihuman and is created by the same company who creates TikTok. It could create a fully deepfake video with mannerisms and everything from just a photo.
What would art be like without emotions? It would be empty. What would our lives be?
And from my appearances on Roast, but I am not here to roast you tonight. I want you to know that. And how could I, really?
How do we... Her mouth did get extra big when she said how. Like, golly, girl.
Deliver to 10 billion people affordable, nutritious, and sustainable food.
So don't trust everything you see online.
So now you're telling me that there's an underground city below Los Angeles that's been there for God knows how long?
Yeah, don't trust everything you see online, because some stuff that you've heard about is actually true. So therefore, let's put out some misinformation and say it's some stuff online. It's a deep fake. That's not really real. Why? Why do you need me confused? So you can get my vote? You've got all the money. You've got all the gold. Why else? Why? Because you're just evil? But why are you just evil? What's the end goal? Is it my booty hole? Is that what you want? No, you want my child's booty hole. Is that what it is? But why do you want to keep the tradition of booty hole taking going on? Why would you care? I mean, once you get all the booty holes you want and you pass away because you can't take the booty hole with you, only yours, you want a culture of booty hole grabbing. let's just keep going.
Called Subtropolis. I'm sorry, what? I've never heard of such a thing, but I just saw a video today and now my mind is blown because I've been obsessing over the fires and all the random information that I'm getting from people that live there, from the news, from TikTok. A lot of things in my mind don't add up with these fires.
That looks like AI. What was this? I don't worry about that. That looks like AI. From far back, it looks, but what about up close? I don't know.
Fires. And I'm sure a lot of you agree with me. I've heard some theories, some a little way over here, but they also make sense. Some way over here, but those also make sense too. So there's an underground city, and the video, if you've seen the video, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, find the video now. It's called Subtropolis. But they keep it was giving Raiders of the Lost Ark vibe. That's the only way I can describe it. Like, you're gonna find some deep, dark government secrets. Well, find the video.
Surveillance video from inside the Ackworth Walmart shows Patel walk in last month.
Shopping for Tylenol for his elderly mother.
As he walks the aisles, video shows him cross paths with this woman in a motorized wheelchair with a baby in her arms and a little girl under her feet.
She's pointing to where the Tylenol is.
Patel's back is to the camera, but as the chair moves forward, he appears to lean in. That's when the mother says he picked up her son. She did not respond to requests to comment on the new video, but told us last month.
He pulled him, I pulled him back. We're tug-of-warring. And this video is very clear that did not happen.
She says her client thought the kid was going to fall, so he was helping her readjust. Video shows him back up. She points to something, and he moves in that direction. The mom says she doesn't need the wheelchair, but her kids wanted to ride it. She has trouble driving it, backed into shelves, and appears to run over her child's foot with it.
This man even jumped to help the child when the child fell. That's what people do.
While that's happening, an employee helps Patel find the Tylenol. He holds it up as he talks to the mom on his way to the checkout counter.
He's not fleeing, as the police have said. He's not fleeing. He's using his debit card. He's talking with an employee here, paying for it in his own name.
He stops to talk to a worker before leaving, and police arrested Patel days later. Last week, a grand jury indicted him for attempted kidnapping, assault, and battery. He's been in jail nearly a month now. His attorney plans to ask for bond in 3 weeks.
Unless this dude has some prior stuff that I don't know about and that's why he's in jail, I'm going to say this with my entire chest. That should be crazy. If you if you make false allegations against someone and it's proven that the allegations were false, you need to go directly to hell.
But that's not going to happen. I know you say you need to go to hell, but you're not going to go to jail. And you're not going to go directly to hell because you still got to suffer the punishment of the grave first. They got to be judged and all that stuff, but that might be your ultimate destination. But I mean, as far as us Christians say, all you have to do is say, Jesus is my Lord and personal Savior. Then you're guaranteed to go to heaven. I mean, according to us Christians. So you can't really say that a person will go directly to hell if they make a false allegation and an allegation is proven to be false. You can say it and want them to and cross your, I hope you go to hell. But if they have said, I accept Jesus as my personal Lord and Savior, you've got to deal with those false allegations, and that person doesn't even get to go to hell. How's that for some BS? But Jesus is God though, right? Didn't Jesus think of that? Look, is that Jesus calling me and saying, hey man, stop talking this stuff? I'm not talking about Jesus. I'm just saying it seems a little strange that you can do whatever you want to do and then say, Jesus is my personal Lord and Savior. Can't touch me. Can't touch me. That's Jesus, right? But to my point, this is a part of why men don't approach women. That's not happening no more. You can't be a good Samaritan. That's gone. That was in our other timeline. What are you talking about? It's hilarious.
And if we can't send you to hell, then you need to go to jail. Close enough. Seriously, false allegations are wild. And this is not to say things don't happen. They do. But every time a false allegation happens and somebody gets away with that shit, I die a little bit inside, because that's whack. The dude is sitting in jail. And again, unless there's some other stuff I don't know about, he's sitting in jail off of your interpretation of him helping you.
That's why if you take Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, it won't matter that you're in prison getting your booty hole taken, because you get to go to heaven. It's hell on earth, but you'll get to go to heaven, allegedly. So that's what us Christians believe. Well, I don't believe that, but that's what I was told as a Christian. I believe something else, because that sounds stupid, but that's me.
The U.S. political system hates China. Why? Because China's big and successful. And so that the U.S. hates. It's a rival, it's a competitor, and so this is the one thing he left on. Now he's going to mess up everything with this too, because in a trade war between the U.S. and China, China wins. China does not depend on the U.S. market very much. It's about 12% of China's exports. China will do just fine. It's just dumb policy. There's no more, sorry to say it, there's just no more explanation to this.
America hasn't won a war since World War II. Unless you consider the conspiracy that America is now waging war against the American people. They're winning that war. They're totally kicking our asses. But did the Democrats wage war against the American people? Or did the Republicans? And if you believe we're being waged war against, what side are you on? Republicans. Why don't y'all do something? What is Donald Trump doing? What is he worrying about China for? Instead of because it's a psyop. China's doing it. China's behind it all. Right? But when did we know they were behind it? Because we didn't know who was behind 9/11 until after 9/11 happened. So where's the? You know what? I'm just a stupid American. I'm just a stupid Negro. I don't know. Donald Trump, I love Mr. Trump. I love him. But you tell me what I'm supposed to think, so I can start thinking it.
Than that. It makes no sense. Now, it raises, if I could, just one last point. How can this happen when it makes no sense? And that people should understand, we are in one-person rule in the United States. Our political system is in a state of collapse. What President Trump did...
Stop. It would have been the same way underneath Kamala Harris. Maybe even worse. Let's stop the cap. It was worse underneath Biden. It was. It wasn't any better underneath Obama. And I know I'm making a lot of black people mad, but what did he do for the black community? Legalize gay marriage? Well, how did that help me as a black man who doesn't want to marry another man?
Is an emergency decree. Everything he does is an emergency decree. Literally, you can go on to whitehouse.gov and then follow the menu to executive decrees. And there are dozens of them. And each one starts the same way. With the powers invested in me as President of the United States, I hereby declare A, nonsense, B, nonsense, C, nonsense. Because...
And that would have been the same thing with Kamala. That's why I said, is it bad because there's a Republican here? Is it bad because there's a Democrat here? I think it's either one. Both of them are bad because both of them are not working for the American people. Not anymore. The last president that was working for the American public, I don't even know when. But none of these guys are. They're working for their bosses. And it's not us. And it hasn't been. And it's not going to be. So let's just enjoy the ride and stop saying Democrat, Republican, whatever. But of course, that's what a Negro would say, right? Of course. This is what a guy from the inner city would say, right? And there's more of the brainwashing. That's the spell they put over you. So when a person comes out and says something that sounds logical, you will just throw rocks at him. You'll dismiss him for whatever he is. You'll dismiss him because he's black. You'll dismiss him because he's a woman. You'll dismiss him because he's a child. You'll dismiss him because he's this or that. You'll dismiss him because he's Asian. You won't dismiss him because he's gay. Anymore. We used to do that. Not anymore, though. Interesting.
He's king. Those powers are not invested in the President of the United States. They're invested in the Congress. You read Article 1, Section 8 of our Constitution. It's
okay, you got to stop complaining about the stuff, man. I mean, I was listening, but, my attention span is not what it used to be in my previous timeline. I used to pay attention for a while. Now, I don't care.
Like if you watch the Kardashians, there's nothing special about them. And they're billionaires. Like, yeah, they're cute, they have nice clothes, but the whole show is based on very boring people who are living these extremely privileged lives for no reason than anybody.
Now, in LeBron James's world, Joe Rogan is hating on the Kardashians because he said that. So then my question would be, what is he gaining from hating on them? Joe Rogan is rich. People download clips from his podcast like 12 million times a month. How many times is that in a year? Over 120 million downloads? He's jealous. He's hating on the Kardashians because that's what hating is. Or is he just telling you what he sees? This is a bunch of whores who are selling whoredom, and but let's keep it in mind. Whores are beautiful. A lot of them. Most times they are. And they're just selling beautiful whoredom. I don't know what these girls are even famous for. She's a businesswoman. How? What business? Because I remember you even being introduced to the world for having a sex tape with Ray J. But that's just a LeBron James standard. Any critiques, you're hating. But those same type of critiques against everybody else is not hating. Like when you guys say stuff about Kobe Bryant, that's not hating. When you say stuff about Michael Jordan, that's not hating. When you say stuff about Steph Curry, that's not hating. But if a person says the same thing about LeBron James, now it's hating.
Can explain. But yet they're the people that people want to aspire to.
Here are some cool inventions that prove Japan is living in the future. First, at grocery stores, they have smart shopping carts. You can scan your items, put them in your cart, and pay at the end. Next, in their bathrooms, there are phone sanitizers. You just put your phone in a special slot while you wash your hands, and the germs are killed with UV light. Lastly, my favorite one is the self-closing jars to make things easier. You just place the lid on the jar, and it seals itself to keep your food fresh. How cool is that?
On the top.
Why don't we have that in America? We're the greatest country in the world. We don't have the greatest tech in the world. No, we do. So why can't we have that now? Because they haven't figured out a way to make money off of us with it? No, that can't be why. You guys leave it in the comments. You know what? I'm going to go on a limb and say it's because of the Democrats, right? Very LeBron James. I see where he got his whole playbook from. If you can't do it, just blame it on the 90s. Blame it on LeBron. Yeah, right? But it's never LeBron's fault. So let's blame it on Jordan. Let's blame it on Scottie Pippen. Let's blame it on the 90s. Oh, those guys couldn't play that good. Is this what the Republicans do? Just blame it on the Democrats. Is that what the Democrats do? Blame it on the Republicans. Is that what white people do? Blame it on black people. Is that what black people do? Blame it on white people. I don't know, man. Is that what women do? Blame it on men. I don't know. You leave it in the comments and tell me. I'm not sure.
Top of a cliff in a remote desert, I noticed these geometric patterns in the exposed rock formation. Right angles and straight lines. So I started scanning the top of this plateau for other places where this geologic layer might have emerged onto the surface. Until finally, I came upon the objects for which I have spent countless late nights searching for. Massive, almost geometrically perfect blocks of stone. So I went there and came to realize the most incredible part of this place was what lie in between the blocks, and left me convinced that this might be the coolest thing I've ever found on Google Earth. Alright, good afternoon. We have arrived at the bottom of this mesa, and I'm pretty sure those giant stone blocks are somewhere up there. And now we just gotta figure out how to get up there. I think I could take a path up those bentonite hills there on the left. What do you think, Tui? You know, based on what I was seeing on Google Earth, they're huge. I mean, possibly some of the largest stone blocks I've ever found. And what I don't know is how deep they are, how far down they actually go. And I'm very excited to find out. Look at these ball concretions across the valley from us. Some strange geology out here.
What if there's this trend going around, right, that women say, when somebody else calls me pretty, and then the audio is like, let me see that pretty, right? Okay, bear with me. What if some woman in real life tells me that, right? I just say, oh, you're so pretty, because I do say that to women. When I think they're pretty, I tell them, because why wouldn't I, right? And I would say, no, what if you, who's watching this, come to me, right? Or I see you in the street, whatever, and I say, oh, you're so pretty, girl. And then you think in your head, instead of saying in your head, you said it to me like, let me see that pretty. And I actually want to show it to you.
Is this a come out the closet moment? Like, are you... What's going on here?
Actually say, okay, let's set that up. What if I will do it? Now, will you do it? Will you have it? Don't lie, will you? I think you would. I would have. If somebody, okay, if I'm in the other situation, right, and somebody tells me, oh, you're so pretty, or I don't know, wait, I'm confusing myself. The point is, if I'm the one that says, let me see that, show it to me, video call, picture, face to face, will you say yes? I hope I'm not coming off as somebody that's creepy. I just want to know.
I don't know that you're coming off like someone that's creepy. Kind of thirsty, but because you're like, you know, good looking and there's a lot of I guess sexuality oozing off of you. I know for guys we would say, nah, she's not creepy, she good. Let me talk to you about that perceived creepiness. Women, I don't know what women would do. This would be something good for my wife to break down. Yeah. So become a member. She breaks down stuff like this with me, and it's interesting. It's interesting. But let's keep going.
I wouldn't do it. I hope you too.
Let's go over a few examples of movie studio symbolism, starting with Touchstone Pictures. This could be perceived a couple ways. It could be symbolic to the Western Wall, or maybe the symbolic reference is to the Black Stone. Either way, it's symbolism. Touchstone, a standard or criterion by which something is judged or recognized. And we know it's symbolism because you can see the hand touching the stone. Or how about Universal Studios being universal, having an image of the Earth, but then displaying the words into Saturn symbolism. Coincidentally, the black cube reference with Touchstone has significance to Saturn. Or how about the undeniable fallen angel symbolism with Paramount Pictures displaying the fallen stars in Mount Hermon, which is all referenced in the Book of Enoch. It's definitely symbolism. Or how about DreamWorks showing what seems to be as above, so below symbolism, and to have a guy fishing off the moon, of all things, and calling it DreamWorks, all in association with entertainment. I wish more people were able to grasp the depth of this type of symbolism. Another one that's pretty wild to have an association with entertainment, because Lionsgate is in reference to a portal. Are they letting you know what you hear and you see is like a portal? My answer to that is yes.
Hey, just a heads up. Leadership's asking why the Q2 report was late. I told them you were still working on it.
Interesting, because I sent it Monday, 3:02 p.m. CC'd you twice.
Must have gotten lost. Just resend it and I'll forward it to them.
Already did, and I also attached the original Slack combo where I sent it to you, timestamps included.
Okay, no need to be dramatic. You know they're going to think this was your fault.
I know, that's why I forwarded the receipts directly to leadership, just in case.
You CC'd them.
Be CC'd, I like a quiet reveal.
You're making this a bigger deal than it is.
You blamed me for your mistake, that is the deal.
You should have just messaged me.
You should have just taken accountability.
Wow, this feels a little hostile.
If transparency feels hostile, maybe you're used to too much covered.
I didn't think it was a big deal, just trying to keep leadership happy.
Then maybe don't throw your teammates under the bus to do it.
So what, you're perfect now?
No, but I don't weaponize other people's silence. That's your specialty.
You really sent leadership everything.
Yep. Even attached a summary for clarity, bullet points, action items, highlighted timeline.
3 things in Japan you've never heard of. First, you won't see many trash bins in Japan. The reason dates back to 1995 when terrorists attacked the Tokyo subway using toxic gas hidden in trash bins. More than 5,000 people were affected, leading the government to remove most public trash cans. Despite this, Japan's streets remain incredibly clean. Second, vending machines are everywhere. In Japan, you'll find vending machines on almost every corner, selling not just drinks and snacks, but also hot ramen, fresh fish, and even umbrellas. This helps companies save on labor costs. And since these machines operate 24/7, they're often more convenient than stores. Third, tipping is not welcomed. In Japanese culture, taking extra money for a service is considered unnecessary, and tipping can even be seen as insulting. A waiter or taxi driver may view it as a bribe and might not appreciate it. Good service is simply part of their job.
Hold on, I gotta bring that back right quick.
Third, tipping is not welcomed. In Japanese culture, taking extra money for a service is considered unnecessary, and tipping can even be seen as insulting. A waiter or taxi driver may view it as a bribe and might not.
Look how many phones he got. Snatching. That's why I know, man. At heart, I'm an international person, because this just made... I only had 2 phones when I was out here door dashing. And I was pulling in like, 300 a day, 150 per phone on average. Sometimes it was a little bit more, sometimes it was a little bit less, but 300 a day. So that is potentially $600. Man, oh man, paper.
Appreciate it. Good service is simply part of their job.
To have LeBron James call you a peasant, the Bron sexuals are going to be all over you now. If you guys didn't see, Bron posted a photo with his wife in the caption saying, "Kings don't concern themselves with the opinion of peasants."
But wait, LeBron James was saying that to Kevin Gates, because Kevin Gates said this and this and that. He was I think he was giving LeBron James a compliment, but he said, "I don't like the way Savannah be looking at LeBron." And Kevin is right, because Savannah do be having instances where she be giving LeBron the side eye. That's something else me and my wife will break down from a woman's point of view, because women speak a different language from us men, and I believe all women know what that language is. They learn it from a very young age. Their mothers teach them, and they already know it. That's for one. And then Kevin Gates said, "I like the way those white women be looking at LeBron James." That's what it was. He said, I wouldn't want to trade places with LeBron. He's the greatest and this and this and that. Something along those lines. He said, but I wouldn't want to trade places with him because I don't like the way Savannah look at him. I like the way them white women look at him. And he's right. White women be looking at LeBron like how men look at a beautiful woman. We be like I said before, when we see a beautiful woman, we be looking like we got an attitude. We be like, oh, I'm gonna slap the shit out of somebody. Golly, look at her booty. It's how these white women be looking at LeBron. They be like, oh my God, I will just take him and just tie him up. And Savannah don't be looking at him, not in public. She don't. That's what this whole thing comes from. And LeBron always answer black people. Why didn't you answer this dude who said, yo, you doing steroids? If you're black and you say LeBron is on steroids, he'll never answer you. But if you say anything else, he can't wait to Steven from Django you.
Then proceeds to, praise his wife. This started because Kevin Gates decided to basically say he doesn't like the way LeBron's wife look at him, so he doesn't want to be LeBron. Saying that when LeBron's wife looks at him is almost as if like there's no love, or like she doesn't like, see him on a pedestal or whatever.
She got an attitude. That's how she be looking at him. And if you don't know the inner workings of how a woman looks at things, you don't know what to categorize it as.
But when it comes to white women, they look at LeBron like, yeah, that's a king. Yeah, that's a man. He likes the way white women look at LeBron, not the way... It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. I ain't gonna lie, though. Getting called a peasant is crazy. And all the Bron supporters are in the comments saying, do you need us to handle him? Is he bothering you? Now we got to cancel Kevin Gates, but it's crazy right now. I don't know. I don't think Kevin Gates know what he just started.
Listen, man, you LeBron sexuals don't got the power that y'all want people to think you have. You're in a cult. You can unalive somebody, but you going to prison. You're not getting off, so, I mean, congratulations that you got this person off of here and you got them to the afterlife faster. But if this person said Jesus Christ is my personal Lord and Savior, it won't matter, because LeBron James is your personal Lord and Savior. So you're not going to heaven.
What do you guys...
Well, according to Christians anyway.
Think about the situation. Some people asking for Kevin Gates to apologize. I don't think he will apologize.
In 2035, no one can tell what's real anymore because AI hallucinations have rewritten human civilization. Open your AI search and boom, you find the hottest new restaurant in town. Great reviews, stunning photos, everyone's raving. You drive there and it doesn't exist. Why? Because AI doesn't understand anything. It just predicts the next word based on mountains of data, stringing together confident sounding sentences. And our lazy human brains? We love shortcuts. As Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman said, we think in system one, fast, familiar, and shallow. So when AI sounds right a few times, we start trusting it blindly. Its hallucinations spread like gossip. Familiar, confident, viral. Now, 5% of English Wikipedia may already be AI-generated illusions. This could be the new normal. But when hallucinations corrupt facts and history gets remixed, what happens to reality?
Things in Japan that just make sense. Japanese don't like fat people, so they take fitness seriously. Even their stairs show you how many calories you're burning as you walk. Even washing your hands feels futuristic, with automatic hand washers that dispense the perfect amount of soap and a screen that tells you exactly when you're done. Got dirty sneakers? No problem. Just toss them into a special washing machine, pay, and it automatically adds detergent, scrubs them clean, and even dries them in minutes. Japan really thinks of everything. So subscribe if you'd love to experience one of Japan's inventions for yourself, because
I want to talk about lesbians who are out here claiming to be 100% gay, okay, completely LGBT. However, they still getting their back blown out on the low by a man. And no, I don't mean bisexual. You heard me the first time, 100% gay. I want to talk about those types of lesbians, even the ones that are extremely masculine, the studs. Look like a whole dude, but are creeping on the low and still getting their back blown out.
What's the problem with that? From what end? Is it the guy who's sleeping with the woman who looks like a guy? Is that the problem? Or is it the woman who says, I don't like men, and she's sleeping with a guy in secret? Break it down for me, because you're starting to come off like a woman who is a pure lesbian and is mad that men are taking your counterparts.
And they think people don't fucking know. They still craving for the D. But because they put on a front to the world that they're completely masculine, what do they call themselves? Trans men even? They can't tell nobody they getting piped down on the low. And it's a lot of them that are. It's a lot of them that hang with dudes and are secretly creeping with these dudes. They're homeboys. I said it, y'all. It's facts is facts. See, let me explain something to y'all. And I'm not saying all lesbians are narcissists. But when it comes to a lesbian being a full-blown narcissist, understand she will sleep with anything while claiming to be 100% lesbian.
When you say anything, would she sleep with a beast of the land? Would she sleep with, like, an animal? You tell me. I don't know a lot about this. I don't want to say this is creepy. This is interesting. I didn't know that this is what was happening. So I'm just listening.
And that's coming from a demonic space. You know, see, when a narcissist, whether it's male or female, narcissists are parasitic and they need a host. And if that host, meaning you or anybody else out here, provides them with any type of ego stroking, validation, money, resources, whatever they can get up out of you that would make their life easier, anything that they can gain or benefit from you, you are the target, you are the host, and they are a parasite, and they're going to leech onto the host and they're going to suck you dry. Now that host can be a man, it can be a woman, it can be a child, whatever. A narcissist is a parasite. So if a lesbian happens to be a narcissist, yes, she'll be out here with a whole girlfriend, a whole wife. However, if she knows she can hustle and scam a man out of his money, he got a lot of money, oh, she's going to screw him. I don't care how butchy or masculine she looks. I don't care how much of a stud she is. She's going to get the D. And quiet as kept, a lot of them still crave for it because it makes them feel good. Yeah, they're getting that tapped out of them. They're going to front to the world that they don't fuck with men. But secretly on the low, they still getting the bottom tapped out of their ass. Because they crave the D. So understand, if a lesbian is a narcissist, she'll sleep with anything.
Okay, so it's only if she's a narcissist. You're not saying that lesbians are narcissists. You're saying that a lesbian could be a narcissist. And if such lesbian is a narcissist, you've got a chance of still blowing her back out if you're a heterosexual man. That's good information. Thanks, Jar Jar Binks. I appreciate it.
While claiming to the world that she's 100% a lesbian. I said what I said, y'all. Facts are facts.
Europeans have always been the worst colonizers. Let's make one thing clear. Not all empires were the same. Yes, conquest existed before Europe, but what Europe brought was a systematized apocalypse. A global, mechanized, extractive, and delusional machine built to erase, enslave, and rename the entire planet in its image. The Umayyads, the Abbasids, and the Ottomans colonized, but they didn't burn libraries to build stock exchanges. Baghdad's Beit al-Hikmah, or House of Wisdom, preserved Greek, Persian, Indian, and Chinese texts. Islamic expansion introduced algebra, hospitals, and multilingual court systems, not forced conversions by musket. Arabic became a lingua franca across empires, not by mandate, but by scholarship, commerce, and adaptation. Compare that to the Spanish, who reduced Mexican codices to ashes in Tenochtitlan, declared Nahuatl satanic, and forced Catholic confessions under torture. The Mongols built the longest contiguous empire in history. Yes, they killed, but they didn't erase. Genghis Khan's court had Chinese, Persian, and Muslim scholars side by side. They taxed knowledge instead of obliterating it. If you were a doctor, teacher, or artisan, you were protected. They built relay stations and free travel passes for scholars, not railroads to plantations. Contrast that with the Belgians in Congo, who cut off children's hands for not bleeding enough rubber out of trees, and never built a single university. The Ming dynasty's reach across Asia and Africa via Zheng He's treasure fleets brought porcelain, books, and medicine, not settler colonies. Chinese colonization in places like Vietnam did exist, but it included civil service exams, Confucian schooling, and a food exchange, not sugar plantations and forced sterilization. Now compare that to the British, who called India their jewel, while creating over 30 million famine deaths through forced cash cropping and grain export during droughts. Yes, the Inca, Aztec, and Maya had conquest, but it was regional, symbolic, and seasonal. Tribute came in textiles, maize, and cacao, not slavery and amputated limbs. Sacred war, like Sochi Yao Yotl, was regulated by religious calendars and often ended in ritual rather than extermination. The Spanish responded by melting golden temples into bars, genociding 90% of indigenous populations, and naming towns after saints who never stepped foot on the continent. Europe didn't just conquer land. It conquered meaning, redrew maps, renamed rivers, invented race, mass-manufactured lies like terra nullius, turned people into property, culture into commodity, nature into capital. And then after 500 years of bloodshed, they wrote textbooks, calling themselves explorers. No Islamic caliphate ever created a global insurance market for enslaved human cargo. No Mongol horde ever renamed continents, burned genealogies, banned native languages, and then demanded tribute for the civilization they just annihilated. European colonialism wasn't just violent. It was uniquely annihilative, designed to erase the planet and rewrite it in their own rotting image. No.
All under the guise of Christianity. I'm saying they used Christianity as their reasoning for doing that. They came in under the guise of Christianity. We want to teach you guys about Jesus. That was a lie. They wanted to do all of this stuff that this guy is talking about. Don't believe me? Look at Hawaii. Hawaiians do not consider themselves a state of America. They consider themselves an independent republic because that's what they were before the Europeans. I shouldn't say the Europeans, the Americans, who are European. Well, they're not. Their descendants are from Europe. They themselves, Americans are not European. Europeans don't even want the stink of that on them. They're like, you're far removed from us, like our great, 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 great grand cousin. And shout out to my international people who know and believe that. I'm sorry you didn't know that, Americans. But that's what the Americans came and did that to Hawaii. Hawaiians don't consider, and I have Hawaiian friends. I have Samoan friends who grew up in American Samoa, and they moved to Hawaii. They live in Hawaii. They relocated from Hawaii. I know a lot of Hawaiians, and they all say the same thing. Some of them are resentful, some of them aren't, but that's their story. It ain't me saying this as a black dude who's just mad. It was just interesting to hear them say this.
No empire before or since has done more to erase history, decimate the biosphere, and then demand a thank you note in return. Cope.
Thank you to my channel members. We said thank you. Ha! To my channel members. No diddy when I say member. Thank you to my channel members. Fuck you if you're not a member. Nah, I'm just kidding. But seriously, join. Thank you.